Paul O'Neill, Year 10 Group Leader, North Halifax Grammar School. That's his claim to fame.
Yep.
I've just received a Twitter update from your good selves informing me that Mark's review of Dirty Grandpa will be broadcast at exactly 6 minutes past 3 this afternoon. Well, we're a little bit late because we had other matters.
Yeah.
Like anyone with at least a passing acquaintance with Mark's emotional barometer, we should sell those, by the way, Mark's emotional barometer, see what happens. I instantly recognised this for the weather warning that was implied. Batten down the hatches, folks, because there's a storm a-brewing, which on a weekend like this, people won't need any preparation for. Now, ordinarily, I'd have made a mental note to catch up with the podcast at the earliest possible opportunity, as my day job as a school teacher usually prohibits me from listening live. Today, however, I'm at home nursing a poorly 9-year-old, so have made the most of a chance to literally put my house in order. Like Mark, Hugh Grant, and a number of other such midlife males, I have from time to time a tendency to a tanty.
What was the bit?
Well, just putting you and Hugh Grant together.
Oh, I see.
But this is his reference to...
Hugh didn't have a tanty, he had a mini tanty. A mini tanty.
And one such bout ensued this morning when the lining of the overstuffed kitchen bin I was emptying inevitably split and spilt its contents down my leg. Forgive me then that, still stewing from this encounter, my immediate response to the Wittertainment Twitter alert was not one of my usual rant anticipation, but a surly, I bet he's not as angry as I was when I got covered in stinky bin juice. This remains to be seen, of course, but it got me thinking that those tweets, the sort of coded warnings in advance, could potentially come with their own scale system, much like weather warnings issued by the Met Office. Anyway, Paul, thank you very much indeed. He's enjoying the programme. So anyway, it does seem to have all the ingredients for a perfect storm, but we'll hang around and see what happens, because Dirty Grandpa is one of this week's new releases.
You see, I think the problem is that what the film distributors or, whoever the makers of the film would like is somebody to be, furious and outraged. If you look at the poster, it's got quotes from various people saying, it was so disgusting, I can't believe it wasn't censored. I think it was one of the things, although they were all saying that's a good thing. And the problem about it, with talking about it, is that I don't want to say anything at all that makes it seem like it would be a fun thing, to go and see, because, something, it's so shocking, it's so outrageous, it's so whatever it is, we must go along. So firstly, I want to say that. Second thing is, I feel quite uncomfortable talking about it because I thought it was really horrible. I mean, not entertaining, but really genuinely horrible in a way that, ages and ages ago, Todd Haynes came on the Radio 5 show. I mean, way back in the 90s. And he was on talking about the response that one critic had to a film he'd made called Poison, which is a very interesting film. And he said that the critics said that afterwards they wanted to go home and bath in Clorox. And I'd raised that phrase before. After Dirty Grandpa, I did feel genuinely unclean. I mean, genuinely, like that thing about, I want to go and have a shower because it's so revolting. So anyway, the story is Robert De Niro. I have to say that again because I just can't really believe that it's Robert De Niro. Is this OAP who's just lost his wife and he's meant to be bereaved, and he gets his grandson, played by Zac Efron, to take him. He says, you have to come to Florida with me. And Zac Efron doesn't want to do this because he's about to get married. And it's apparent that actually what happens is that Robert De Niro's character just wants to go completely hog wild and have loads and loads of, of sex. And he's bringing Zac along for the ride because he thinks that Zac needs loosening up. I'll play you a clip anyway.
So you're a lawyer at your dad's firm now? Is that right?
That's right, and Meredith is too. Her dad's one of the managing partners there, so it's...
I know.
Yeah. It could have worked out better.
Because it's just that I remember when you were in high school, you told me how much you wanted to be a photographer, travel the world, that sort of thing. And you remember when I got you that subscription to Time magazine?
Yeah, I used to be into photography, but, with Dad being at the firm, it just made so much more sense to focus on a college curriculum that stressed the law school track. I love what I do, Grandpa. Being a corporate lawyer is awesome. I get to handle SEC compliance.
You handle SEC compliance?
LP agreements.
Oh, man, I didn't know that.
LLC agreements. Being a corporate lawyer, it's got its upsides.
I'm gonna hit the liquor store over there and get some more of the creature. You're paying the check, Alan Dushowitz.
And that clip was cut in order to cut out the thing that Robert De Niro says in response to him saying, I'm doing all this stuff as well. And he makes a joke about, you know what, I'd rather do than do any of that stuff. And then he makes a joke which we can't repeat on the air, and it didn't really deserve to be repeated anywhere, which is just really the beginning of this just endless parade of really crass vulgarity in which you sit there kind of slack-jawed that people that you've admired in the past have got anything to do with it. I mean, this is a film which, you know, it's not just the endless crass sexual jokes. It's not the fact that it makes a joke at one point which is a gag about molestation. It's not just a film in which they have, you know, gone hell for leather to just kind of, you know, think of the most gross humour possible and then put it into the mouths of people that you might otherwise have admired. It's that watching it, I had that feeling, firstly, of thinking, I'm going to find it hard to watch a Robert De Niro film again, because it's not that I feel that he should be the keeper of the flame of everything that he's done that was great in the past, but it reminded me of Movie 43 and thinking, what are these people doing in this film? What has the director, who incidentally, you know, is a long-time collaborator with Sacha Baron Cohen, got on these people that they're doing this? And why is it that somebody, you know, I mean, Zac Efron, you can kind of say, okay, well, you know, he came to fame doing things like High School Musical, and maybe somewhere in some bonkers alternative universe, it makes sense for him to just take part in something that is really crass and vulgar and unpleasant in order to put clear blue water between him and his sort of squeaky, you know, it's like somebody being in a boy band and then, you know, making a heavy metal record or something. No, actually, it's nothing like that, because heavy metal records can be great and wonderful, and this is just foul. I mean, really foul, really, I mean, like jokes that if somebody repeated them at a party, you'd throw them out. There are things that I've seen in Bad Grandpa that I can never unsee. Robert De Niro doing things that I can't repeat on the air because of the time of day we're on, that I can't ever unsee. And unfortunately, now if I watch Goodfellas or I watch King of Comedy, rather than seeing, you know, Rupert Pupkin being brilliant, I'm going to see Robert De Niro with Zac Efron walking in on him and finding him relaxing in a gentleman's way, as Viz Comics used to call it, and not just in a fleeting shot, but for a long time, and thinking, you know, I know he's got bills to pay, and I know he's got projects that he wants to finance, and I'm sure that he feels that he's earned his keep, and it's not like he hasn't let us down before. But this isn't like being let down. This is really like somebody putting their chin forward and challenging you to still have any vestigial respect for them at all. I thought it was really gross. I thought its sense of humour was so wildly misjudged. I know it's very smug and very smart and very middle class now to go, oh, well, you're shocked by those things, you know, oh, well, you know, we're comedians and we can push the boundaries of taste, and that's what we're doing. I can just imagine all the people making it, sitting around in their smug dinner parties, smugly congratulating themselves on making something. Oh, it's so shocking, it's so offensive, it's so shocking. And just thinking, I just don't want the film to exist. I wish I hadn't seen it. I wish I could unsee it, but I can't. But I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Is it worse than Entourage?
I tell you what, somewhere in hell there is a multiplex playing this on a double bill with Movie 43 and Entourage.
I wonder if it is because
I'm actually quite upset. Oh, and then as far as me and Zach's concerned,
over.
Yeah, finished.
He needs a new agent.
He needs more than a new agent.
Andrew Hazel in Paisley. I wonder if actually why people might think it's worse than Entourage is because it's got De Niro in it. It's because everybody knows of the extraordinary body of work that he has done over the years, and to see him do this.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like he hasn't done rubbish before, but not on this level. What did that guy said? Something he had to clean out the stinky bin.
Yes, stinky bin juice.
Stinky bin juice, being drenched from head to foot in stinky bin juice would be. But it was just horrible.
Andrew Hazel in Paisley. With Dirty Grandpa, I'm absolutely certain I've witnessed one of the worst movies of 2016, and we're not yet a 12th of the way through. Vapid, misogynistic, hedonistic, tasteless, unfunny, disgusting, immoral, downright offensive are only some of the words I can use that you'll be able to read out on broadcast radio to describe how much I hated this movie. It's as if the cast and crew decided to spend their time drunk and partying, spouting terrible one-liners continuously with no regard for their repetitive or questionable taste. For a movie that only runs for around 100 minutes, it has so many jokes.
Yeah.
I would easily estimate the average to be around one per minute. It left me wanting to tell the cast and crew to grow up, De Niro included. If he was embarrassed during interviews for The Intern, I can only imagine how red-faced he's going to be.
Yeah, believe me, The Intern is, there's nothing wrong with The Intern. The Intern is actually a sweet, charming film, bristling with life and vitality in comparison with it. I thought The Intern was all right. I didn't think it was great, but it was all right. But I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed about The Intern. There really isn't. But this is something to be ashamed of. This is properly something to be ashamed of.
Alan Webb on this email. For reasons I've forgotten, I went to see Dirty Grandpa with a few friends last night. Everyone involved should be thoroughly ashamed.
There we go.
A sordid, pathetic excuse for a film. To give such context as to how disappointed I am, this week I finally saw Taxi Driver. However much they're paying you, De Niro, it's not enough to tarnish one of the great acting careers of all time.
Isn't that what I said at the very beginning?
And Mark, if you didn't see Zac Efron becoming part of the Rogan Franco crowd, churning out lowest common denominator rubbish year after year, you're just about the only one who didn't. The really depressing thing about it all is that this has triple box office takings for Room.
Oh, it's triple, yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Can I say, incidentally, guilty as charged. I feel like I've waved the flag for Zach enough. He's going to have to. He's going to have to do something really important.
Simon in Southampton. I had the misfortune to attend. All these people apologising for.
I know, but that's how we all. I mean, at least I didn't pay for it.
I've sat through a lot of awful films. I even stayed to the end of Entourage, but after an hour, I really couldn't take any more of the offensive, homophobic and anti-Semitic jokes.
It's anti-everything. And as I said, that's why that kind of really smug, oh, we're so clever. Oh, we're crossing all these lines. Oh, we're saying all these things that nobody would dare to say. You go,
is Kenneth Williams around? Because that was a good Kenneth Williams impression.
Was it? Oh, sorry.
Anyway, so Simon walked out in disgust. Up to that point, the cinema had been fairly silent, with
yeah
from the audience. Jackie on this email, thank you for saying what you said about the Grandpa film. I had been going to see it, but I won't know. I mean, clearly, there is no... you just have to stop. If your plans are to... even if you bought tickets...
Just don't.
Should I think about it?
No.
Should I just go for the opening title sequence?
No. You should, honestly... You should just you should pretend that this doesn't exist. Every now and then something happens that's so terrible that you just kind of make an agreement that you're never going to talk about it. That's a plot of like so many horror movies. It's the plot of Ghost Story, right? It's the plot. It's a classic horror movie plot. Something really horrible happens and you all agree to just never talk about it as if it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. It's like that.